All right, good morning. How we doing? Good. All right, my name is Jalen Samuel. I'm originally from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Born and raised in Alabama, got through and through. It's just an honor to be here speaking with you all today. Thanks to Coach Bailey, the Huntsville Sports Commission, the Rocky City Lion Clinic. Just super ecstatic to be here. So just a little bit about my background, my journey. So I currently serve offensive line coach, video coordinator at Mississippi Valley State University in Itta Bena, Mississippi. We're about an hour and a half west of Starkville, Mississippi on Highway 82. Probably about 2 hours south of Memphis, Tennessee, about an hour 45 north of Jackson, Mississippi. So we're in the heart of Mississippi Delta. Transitioned there from Gardendale High School. Spent some time in Jefferson County school system. I see McAdory in the house tonight. So spent some time at Gardendale High School, coached D-line there. Won the region, 6A Region 5 there. Transitioned there from Tennessee State University, where I served as offensive line grad assistant under Coach Eddie George and Hugh Jackson. So got an idea of the pro-style system there. Transitioned there, spent a little time the COVID season at the University of North Alabama. And from there was at University of West Florida as the corners coach during the 2019 season, which is where I got my start. I started at Troy University as a defensive student assistant. So that ultimately propelled me to go on to West Florida as the corners coach. So probably one of the only O-line guys in the country that kind of could do corners there. So yeah, interesting deal. But the biggest thing about this deal, I truly believe that I'm a change agent. Got into this to impact lives. And we can't do anything without the players. We can't do what we do without the guys. So I just implore you guys to make sure that you are consistently developing relationships with your guys. You're the head coach of your unit. So everything that goes on in your unit, your guys are your responsibility. You should be able to look at a guy and can tell, okay, that guy's kind of off today. What's going on? You know, you're the head coach of your unit. So anything that goes on with those guys ultimately falls under your umbrella. So make sure you have an understanding and a relationship and really an open door policy, because the generations that are coming along are a bit unique. All right, it's different. They don't really respond well to that in-your-face coaching style, the more the militant coaching style. So make sure you have relationships with your guys there. So just some things we stand on here at Mississippi Valley. We always preach the time is now. The time, you got guys that are procrastinators, guys want to wait around. We'll get to that. We may put that in. We may try it. Do it now. The time is now. The time is now. Okay. Fair, firm, and consistent. That's the approach we take on a day-to-day basis. Our coaching, we're fair, firm, and consistent. The kids know how we operate. We don't like to leave room for ambiguity because that leaves room for multiple interpretations. So we like to be fair, firm, consistent, and we stand on business. Stand on business there. Okay. So want to give you guys a drill. I know we come to these hoping to take something away. So I want to give you all a drill that's very useful. Got this from Coach Brett Bielema. Went to the Nike Coach of the Year clinic at Tunica. If you hadn't been to Tunica, Mississippi, I recommend you going down to check it out. It's a good time over there in Tunica. Okay. So got this from Coach Brett Bielema. All right. So we call it the Delta Devil drill. Now this is, you see it, you're like, okay, are they doing Oklahoma? No, it's not Oklahoma. We really want to get a good strain here. All right. This is a good way to start off practice, get the juice flowing. You have O-line versus D-line matchup. Take a running back versus a tight end. You can even get those diva skill guys involved and get them active. But you really want these guys to strain. So here we got Vito. I signed him out of the transfer portal. He's from Spain. So he's only been in the U.S. for 2 years here. So he's my project. Okay. So we got Vito against a transfer D lineman there. You really just look at that strain. You just want those guys straining. Obviously, poor job by Vito not getting that second step, that bad first step, not getting the second step in the ground. But really just want those guys straining. All right. So you take 2 pop-ups, set it up in between 2 pop-ups. The running back is making his cut based off of the block. He's making his cut based off the block. Okay. So just a quick drill to kind of get practice flowing, kind of get the juice going, get some competition rolling, get guys strained and warmed up, knock the dust off. And this is something that obviously this is not an everyday drill. This can be something that's, done and obviously having a detailed practice plan. You pick out your matchups of who you would like to see in this. But this is, I mean, look at the strength. You just want guys strength. Poor technique right here by Perkins, not keeping the base, and we'll see it from behind. Not keeping the base, but you just want those guys straining. Emphasis on the strain there. You want those guys straining. You want them straining. We've got a tight end linebacker matchup here. So again, not going to spend too much time on this, but I want you guys to see this. This can be used for multiple position groups just to kind of get the juices flowing at practice. All right. But I mean, look at that effort. You just want guys work. You want guys firing off the ball straining. It's not a bang bang drill. You want strain. So that's the key word for this drill. Strain. Here we go. We got the divas in there. All right, the skill guys. Just straining. Again, so this thing gets very competitive. And it gets very interesting. So this is something that can be used again to kind of get practice started. This can be a sudden change of pace during practice. But this is very helpful in order. And this is something that we again got from Coach Britt Bielema at Illinois. All right, so I'll get into I know you guys like, what's he talking about up there? Okay, I'm going to get into the why, okay? So talking about variations of counter, but why counter, all right? Well, you over pursuing defenses, all right? A lot of blitzing, all right? You have physical athletic linemen, you may have that, okay? Or you may just want a dynamic change up from power or inside zone, okay? That could be a why, all right? But simple rules for players, it's very simple, all right? So think about it from the front side guard, the front side tackle perspective. You're responsible for your inside gap, backside linebacker. Simple. Center, you back blocking, you're responsible for A to B. You have an area. Okay. But most importantly, the counter wrinkle, it provides conflicts for D coordinators. Okay. When properly blocked, it is extremely difficult to defend. All right. And understand, not only that, it creates a number of advantages. All right. We talk about that. We're getting pullers coming across the formation, all right? Defenders do not want to take on pullers all night. Okay? Again, you got multiple variations of the counterplay with similar cores, all right? But, however, I will give a disclaimer. This concept is extremely expensive. This is not a concept to where, hey, we're just going to install it, see what it looks like. We dib and dab in it. No, if you're going to run counter, you must extensively rep counter. All right, that's a hill you must be willing to stand on, okay? If counter is going to be a wrinkle in your system, you must extensively rep counter in the off season, in drill works, throughout practice. Counter has to be a staple in your offense if that's going to be something that you want to be successful at. So it's a very expensive wrinkle, but it's worth it. It is worth it, okay? So before I get into that, just kind of talk about the fundamentals I teach. I want to have a 2-foot split. That's just my base alignment. Big on splits, space is our friend. Now, obviously, they can be reduced by game plan, short yardage situations, but just regular base alignment, D&D, base D&D, 2-foot splits. The only time that will change is if we're running GT counter. All right, I'll tell that tackle to get a healthy split, right? Get a 3-foot split away from that guard because he has to pull for some whip and read the guard's numbers, and I'll talk about that there. All right, but I'm a 2-foot split type of guy. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the different pulls, the techniques that we use, all right? Use a lawnmower technique for that pulling guard. And I call it a lawnmower technique because you always have to have buzzwords for the kid. All right, it's an open pull, so he's opening himself up. I want him to throw that elbow to force himself to open that hip. I want him to throw that elbow like I'm cranking a lawnmower, all right, for that pulling guard. So I got some drill tape here. All right, we practice this. This is something that we rep. All right, this is something that we rep. Just that first step. Look at that. Boom, open up. Now, the way I set this drill up, all right, see the cones are offset there. All right, I want your foot on the point of that cone. All right, you should open up. Your second step should be going back into the cone because, again, your second step should be going back into the line of scrimmage if you're a puller. All right, because they should be whooping tail on that deuce block or on the front side of that deal anyway. Gaps move, okay? So you should go back into the line of scrimmage because if you just open up and go flat, you'll never make that kick. You'll never make that kick. Now, obviously, sometimes you may, but it is conducive for you to take that second step back into the line of scrimmage, which is why I said it that way. So again, boom, you see them open it up. All right. Now, we'd like them to gain a little bit more ground. We're kind of stepping underneath ourselves there. Not opening up enough for me. But just emphasis on the boom. Opening up. All right, boom. Get there, redirect. All right, get out. Okay. So again, just emphasis on the pull there and how we rep it. And we do that both ways. Guys have to be able to go both ways there. Boom. Got to gain ground. That second step, boom, got to get back into the line of scrimmage. That second step has to, That second step has to get back into the line of scrimmage. And that's why I offset that. To really overemphasize that. But again, that we have to take better first steps there. All right, same thing here. Boom. Pour with the first step back here by Clarence. Back here in the back. Pour with his first step. All right, but he gets back into the line of scrimmage. All right, this is a bad example. Not going to always have good. All of these aren't going to be good examples. Pretty bad example right here by Clarence. All right, boom, boom. We got to gain ground with that first step. Got to gain ground. All right, so talk about the skip pull. All right, talking about the skip pull. So, all right, if we're running GT, the tackle has a mandatory skip pull. He gets a 3-yard pull. 3-yard split. 3-foot split. 3-foot split. He must pull for depth. I want him to get about a yard there. So he is reading the pulling guard's number. If the pulling guard gets a kick, boom. All right, he now inserts. Okay. All right, if that pulling guard if he gets a log, all right, he must wrap around. So those are our counter rules there, and I'll get into that. But just kind of wanted to get into it from a technical aspect. In terms of what that looks like. So we'll get into the skip pull, kind of how I set up a skip pull drill. All right, so how I set this up. All right, I want those guys to, again, he should be up a bit more. All right. I set it up, okay, foot on the cone. I want you to get depth, and here's our insertion point. We're assuming that there's a kick. We're assuming that there's a kick. All right, and there's our insertion point. All right, I want him to sprint for the finish there. All right, so that's again. So here we go. Joseph Church right here, Fresno State transfer, right here, and again, he knows he has to vacate. Boom, get about a yard of depth there. Read those numbers. I see those numbers kick out. Boom, I now insert, but I have to be low to be able to redirect. Same thing from Church again. And this is something that we have to, again, with us being so heavy in the gap scheme, we've invested in a lot of time into our pulling drills, and I got our D-line coach on board with it. So what we do now is essentially a gap period to where it's a pull drill to where what we do now, okay? So whether we specifically set up a drill while there's ball security circuits going on, any type of tackle leverage drill, we come together combo. We call this pull drill. Okay, so it can be GT, it can be GY. It's just O-line, so we typically keep it in the GT range, or we will imply GY just so we can get a gap hinge on the backside there. Okay, but the D-line know there's pullers coming. All right, this is just, again, it's not a slugfest, but there's emphasis on, hey, we know this is coming. We got to make sure that we get this cleaned up. All right, so right here, all right, so this will be our GY. Okay, this will be our GY, so working that gap hinge on the backside. All right, a bit poor right here by Joseph. All right, bit poor right here by Joseph. I want to make sure he checks B gap, make sure nothing's there. All right, and he needs to be firmer. He needs to be firmer. He's not firm enough right there for me on that gap hinge. He needs to be firmer. All right. Bad footwork right here by the center. All right. Boom. We get a kick inside out there. So this is something that we rep this again and again and again and again. And we're going to rep this till the cows come home. We're going to rep it till the cows come home. All right. So GT, we go GT right here. Got the extended split right there by the tackle. So that's how we kind of cheated a little bit because he has to read the numbers here. He has to read the numbers. Boom. I get a kick. Now I insert. Okay, got my open pull, my skip pull. Boom. Now, poor job on the pull. Poor job. And again, this has to be constantly rep. His base is too wide, not enough knee bend for me. All right, poor job on the pull. That's why we get this recorded, so we make sure we have an understanding and be able to coach off of it. All right. Back here on the deuce block. Back here on the deuce block. Not good. No bueno. No bueno. He would have split that. He would have split that. All right, so Bryson Hart, all right, red shirt freshman from Lebanon, Tennessee right here. He has to make sure he gets more into that. He has to get more into that, really working to take over there so Vito can advance. All right, so again, we hang our hats on the gap combos as well. Gap combos, this drill is we do this with our D-line, but this is an individual drill that we work extensively, and it's just really working the ace block here. We go again, our pods. All right, our pods. We have to make sure we're getting movement on the down. All right, and I put this one in there. This is a bad example. The next one will be a good example. This is a bad example. Again, right here, Devin Pitts, his base is too wide. He needs to narrow his base some. The footwork that the approach I tell them to use is jab crotch footwork. All right, jab crotch footwork. He should take a quick jab step. Boom, jab step right there. Pick that foot up, boom, put it down and be thick up through that crotch with that left foot right there. Should be, boom, jab crotch, working to stay square so he can get movement. But again, he doesn't take that first step. He steps with his left foot first, doesn't take a quick jab step. Boom. No bueno. No bueno. Okay, too high. Okay, right here, Vito and Joseph Church. Boom, boom. Really working to stay square. Boom, boom, getting into there. That's what we wanted to look like. That's what we wanted to look like. All right, right here, poor. All right, getting his shoulders turned. Getting his shoulders turned. All right, this is a bad example. Getting his shoulders turned. We do not want guys to get their shoulders turned. Get that. Now, obviously, sometimes you have to hit that hip, but this is not hitting the hip. You're getting your shoulders turned. All right, and you will never be able to come off and make that block right there. All right, so that's a poor example right there. And this stuff, again, you have to hang your hat. You have to extensively rep this and make sure that they have an understanding of it. Here we go again, two red shirt freshmen right here from both from Memphis, Tennessee. Were very raw when I got them out of Memphis City schools. And they here we go right here, just trying to get them to have an understanding, all right, of what that combo looks like. All right, we got to get movement on the big, and a buzzword that I tell the guys, we want to deposit the big to the backer. We want to deposit the big to the backer. So you got to get movement on the big and deposit him to the backer. All right. So I'll get into it. All right, I'll get into it. Okay, let's talk about GH. Okay, one of my favorite variations because a GH counter. Okay, it gives you +1 element in the run game. You get a +1 element. Especially you have an athletic quarterback. You want to get an extra hat in there, get the back in there. It gives you a +1 element, okay? Now, all right, our coach talking about the run protection offense, okay? All right, we got a 3-man surface here in the trips, out of trips, okay? So any 3-man surface, all right, now, I don't see Alabama A&M in here today, so I'll give you a secret. So, but any 3-man surface, we'll run a stick concept, okay? Stick concept. So you got the stick by 3, you got the speed out by 2, and the more, all right, by number 1, okay? All right, the 1-man surface there, we got the hitch conversion. All right, so, all right, understand, all right? So talk about it from up front perspective, and then I'll get into the skills. So front side tackle, front side guard, inside gap to backside linebacker, inside gap to backside linebacker. Okay, so that covers you. And again, that's against any type of movement, whether you get any type of interior pressure. You are responsible for your inside gap. All right, to the backside linebacker. Okay, all right. Backside guard has the flat pull. He's kicking the end man on the line of scrimmage. Backside tackle will B gap hinge. All right, the back will now become the second puller, and he's reading the block of the first puller. Okay, he's responsible for the first linebacker in the box. Okay, quarterback will catch the ball, take a rocker step, and now he will run the counter downhill. Okay, all right. Now we do have some adjustment rules, and I'll talk about those adjustment rules here. Got some tape of it. See what that looks like. All right, so here we are, and I'll show it from the wide first, simply because we do have we got 3-man surface here, so it'll be a stick concept. All right, they have to honor the stick concept. They have to honor the stick concept. All right, so here we go. We'll look at it from the box. All right, so we got an odd front here. All right, got an odd front here. All right, so we should now, all right, that now vacates the ace block because we'd have an edge rusher walked up. All right, we should now make a timber call. Timber. All right, everybody should be back. Okay, back. So let's take a look at how that plays out. Boom, center's back. Guards back, tackles down. Now, all right, Joseph Church right here. All right, poor job. He's got to keep him in B gap. That's a B gap player. You got to keep him in B gap. I can't overrun that and let him get outside of me like that. All right, boom. We got an explosive run. All right, we got an explosive run. All right, pour by the front side tackle with that. By the backside tackle. I'm sorry, with that gap hinge. Just you can't. You're just taking it there, buddy. You got to give it to him. All right. All right, but we got an explosive play. We got an explosive play there. So again, counter again. Here we go. 6H still on the still in the GH series. All right. Now another RPO. Okay. You can add bow screens to these. All right. You can add the bow screens. All right. All right. So understand they're blocking on the perimeter for the bow. They're blocking on the perimeter for the bow. Boom. All right. Boom. He sprays out. Okay. They have to honor that. They have to honor that. All right. So that helps you in the rank. Boom. Look how they vacate now. Look how they vacate now because of the bow screen. And look what that does for us in the box. Boom. Here we go. Let's look at it from the back. All right. So again, we saw them vacate because of the bow screen. All right. Now poor job back here. All right. Poor job here. We got a head up 2. All right. The guard has to be better. Tackle has to be better. All right. But we see how explosive these run. Now that's also 245 pounds running downhill from Aliceville, Alabama. So you get kind of tired of hitting that all night. All right, but that's again, it's just a warrior. He's just a warrior. Other angle. So guys, counter when executed properly, you can have some extremely explosive plays for you. Here we go now. Right here, they busted on the bow screen. They busted on the bow screen. Now, if the back would have executed his assignment properly, he is the second puller, correct? All right. He saw edge pressure. All right. Well, he saw the man come off the edge of he saw a defender come off the edge of the line of scrimmage, which the guard should have got a kick there. All right. Boom. I don't know why the back went there. If the back plugs here, we got an explosive run. We got an explosive run. It's there. So again, you know, you got to execute. Again, you got to execute, but just from an assignment perspective, all right. From an assignment perspective, guys have to do their assignment, all right. And not only that, but from an execution perspective, that this will be an extremely explosive play, all right, if executed properly. Okay, so again, remember that bow screen out there. All right, had coach up here talking about run protection options. Remember the bow. All right, got the bow screen on GH counter. That again, they have to respect it. All right, they have to vacate the box and respect it and create some space for you there. So that helps you. And then you have the stick concept to the 3-man surface. Okay. All right. So get into still in the GH world. Talk about the pop pass. Talk about the pop pass. Okay. All right. Now, still out of 3x1 there, out of 3x1, but now we're implementing the pop element. All right, by number 3. Implement the pop element by number 3. It's still GH counter. Still GH counter. Boom. All right, so now instead of number 3 running a stick route, boom, just give him a quick glance. Boom. I mean, all the underneath coverage is disarmed because of the counter. All right. That window is there. That window is there. So again, that's a wrinkle that we use heavily at the Valley. Now got a good example right here, whooping tail on the deuce block. All right. Now gotta stay square. Gotta stay square so you can see it. Gotta stay square in there. All right. Okay, again, the pop pass. Okay. Pop pass by number 3 is still GH. I got the glance route by 3. All right, now let's look at it from the back. Okay, he kept it. He ran the counter here. All right, now extremely poor job right there. Extremely poor job from an execution standpoint because we could have had a big play. All right, if the tackle stays square and secures the backer, we're in good shape. All right, we're in good shape. But instead, gets his shoulder turn. All right, gets too excited about the deuce block. Well, not a deuce block because you don't even have any work right there. So just come on through. Just keep coming. Just keep coming right there. Just keep coming. Keep coming. Keep it coming. Like Coach said, we want to railroad through. That's a good buzzword, Coach. I like that buzzword, railroad, by the way. So he should be railroading through right now to get to that backside backer. All right, but instead he does not. We get the kick. Boom. We could have had an explosive play. Okay. But we still having it because, again, 245 pounds. Yeah, I'm telling you, 245 pounds at the quarterback position now. Running counter is a glitch. It's a cheat code. Yeah.
Which on that pop pass.
Yes, sir.
On that one, that was on the play side.
Uh-huh.
So we all do that one on either the play side or the back
Yes,
side?
we can do a play side or backside. Yes, sir. We can do a play side or backside. Now we can also do it out of trio with a nub from a nub set. I'll show it to you from a nub set. And this is my last one on the pop pass. I'll transition to another variation. Now you can do the pop pass out of trio from a nub set with the Y attached. He's now running the pop route. You still got the stick concept on the front side. Now, freshman met All Schwack, the linebacker from Wetumpka, Alabama, and this was his welcome to the college football. But it's very effective. Okay, very effective. All right, so getting into GY. Okay, getting into GY, probably one of the most popular. Okay, All right, so two-man surface rules. Okay, you got a bubble. All right, got a bubble. All right, hitch conversion on the one-man surface. Okay, obviously the wise pulling for the front side linebacker, shuffle pulling. Okay, all right, same deal up front, front side tackle, front side guard, inside gap to backside linebackers, your responsibility. All right, center, you have an area A to B. All right, backside guard, you're flat pulling. All right, open pulling and kicking the end man on the line of scrimmage, B gap hinge. All right. By the backside tackle, quarterback, open the ball, open up at 45 degrees, extends arms to the mesh. We got the back. He's going to take a scissor step. His aiming point is the inside leg of the puller. Aiming point is the inside leg of the puller there. Okay. So now we started having troubles with this variation because of this reason right here. When they start wrong arming it, all right, this can be a killer. All right. Now, obviously, very poor on the pull. Okay, but this started giving us issues with wrong arming. All right, and I'm gonna give you a solution for that once you start getting into this issue right here. Because again, a lot of people tend to shy away from counter because of this problem that it presents. Go back to the screen. All right, so we'll show the boss action, okay? The boss action. All right. You start getting DNs that are wrong arming it, start creating issues for you. You can now get into a GT boss world or the bash action world. Okay. All right. What this does, okay, it manipulates the DN and it puts him in conflict, creates conflict for the defensive end. Okay. All right. Obviously, your receivers doing what they don't like to do, they block. All right. The Y, we call what's the disc. Okay. That's disc technique. He's responsible. He's arc blocking for D gap. All right. Nothing comes D gap. I get my eyes back inside. Inside out, I don't see anything there. I now climb for the alley. All right. Same thing. Up front, same rules in terms of how we do it. GT. All right. You widen that split out for the tackle. All right. That should be a healthy 3-foot split. He has to read the guard's numbers. Okay. All right. Now, quarterback. Okay. If it's boss action, talk about bash action. We'll talk about boss first. If it's boss action, catch the ball, 2 small shuffles, reading that C gap defender, reading that DN. All right. That DN widens. I can now stick my foot in the ground, run the counter. All right. He stays there. He squeezes. I toss the ball out. And we now have boss action on the perimeter. I'm sorry. Now I have boss action. Same thing. I can bring the back across and run bash action with it as well. Okay. So you start getting some DNs that are flying up the field and kind of creating some conflict for you. This is what you can do. And this was Tyrone Williams, again at quarterback from Aliceville, Alabama. Jerry Rice, freshman of the year finalist. Like I said, 245 pounds. This was welcome to college football where we knew, okay, we got to play this kid. Boom, manipulate the DN. Boom, stick my foot in the ground, run the counter. Boom, get off me. All right, again, so once you start having issues, all right. This is an answer, okay? Same thing here. You got bash action. Georgia Tech running bash action here. Boom, manipulating that DN. Manipulating that in. Manipulate, boom. Boom. Okay. All right. So again, I talked about it early on, but getting +1 again, getting an extra hat in there. All right. So it's still GY, but now it's QGY. Okay. So the quarterback obviously is your keeper. All right. The halfback is now blocking edge pressure to alley. He's blocking edge pressure to alley. All right. Still same principles with GY counter. Okay. So now you get you have an extra element there. Boom. I mean, guys, these are powerful runs, man. These are attitude plays. These are downhill, just pure want to plays, man. Now, in a perfect world, I'm sorry. Now, in a perfect world, all right, we all make mistakes. In a perfect world, that's what that looks like. Obviously, it's there. I don't know how they get confused there. All right, but if the guys on the perimeter do their job, we have a really explosive play here, and this thing could go to the house. All right. Okay. All right, same thing. Q7Y. Now, we get a bit innovative at the Valley. All right, we get a bit innovative. We try different wrinkles. We're in trio here. All right, we're in trio, but we're in quads. Okay, we're in quads, so it's trio left, but we put an over tag on it, all right, which tells our Y to go over. He is now to the 3x side. All right, we are pulling him from on the ball. Yes, we are pulling him from on the ball. So it gets a bit nasty there, but we have a bow tag with it. All right, so now we can run the bow. All right, we can run the bow screen here. All right, to manipulate. All right, that's our run protection option there. All right, and we have GY counter here. Okay. All right. Now, give them the back view. All right, extremely poor job on the pull there. Camera got faked out. Have to be more physical at the point of attack there. Extremely poor job on the pull. Can't allow that to happen. Cannot allow that to happen. All right, we don't double up, combo up to the backer. Same issue here. Eyes down, shoulders turn. That's what happened. Getting back to those gap combos. Shoulders get turned in those gap combos. Eyes down. We don't get that backer sealed off. He comes over the top. There he is making a play. All right. So again, that has to be preached on and harped on extensively. Go GYH again. Okay, now, all right, we go out of 20 personnel. All right, 20 personnel here. Okay, this Delta State. All right, this was a game plan deal. All right, but we send the Z in ghost motion. We send the Z in ghost motion. All right, we're running GY counter with the rail route by the back. All right, hoping that these guys fly down from the counter action. All right, now you'll see it here a little bit better. If they fly downhill now for that counter action, you can pop that rail route out there, and that should be 6 to the house. They bite on that counter action. Any type of not being sound fundamentally, eyes in the wrong place, you got an explosive play here. All right. All right, and the last thing I'll show you here, I'll get you guys out of here. I want to show you guys a screen that you can use. I want to show you guys a screen you can use, okay? Just quick 2x2 screen, GT counter, okay? All right. So you have the now screen by number 1. 2 is blocking MDM. All right. You're running boss action of GT, okay? The center, all right, I'll go back and explain from a responsibility standpoint. All right, center is out in this screen. He's flat trapping the sticks. All right, flat trapping the sticks, as I call it. All right, guard is out as well. All right, he's flat now. All right, to the alley. Okay, anything here? Okay, he's a rack kill. Tackle is a rack kill. Okay, tackle is your rack kill. So you can now run a screen, all right, off GT counter. All right, obviously here. Pulling guard, pulling tackle, boom, boss action, screen, We got explosive football play. You got explosive football play. I love when big guys get out in space. They're having fun. Now, we got to score this. We got to score this. We got to score this. Like, why are you dancing and cutting? Just go. Go. Go score. Go score. Go score. All right, but I just love it when big guys get out in space and show some type of emotion. But guys, again, that's my counter series from Mississippi Valley State University. I hope that you got something helpful from it, some useful wrinkles that you all can use. Again, your GTs, your GYs, your GH elements. Those are all wrinkles that can help you, again, with some run protection options in there. So I'll open up the floor. Did anybody have any questions about anything that I spoke on?
So y'all, run a lot of counters.
Yes.
Do a ton of variations. So like last night we were listening to Coach talk about wide zone. They're married to wide zone. What other concepts do y'all run? Like as far as like, are y'all purely like counter, or do y'all do inside zone and outside zone? And with that said, how do you balance out being able to execute the multiple variations of counter while also honoring those other plays as well?
So we hang our hat in the gap world. Obviously a lot of power, a lot of duo. Obviously counter is one of our staple schemes, but inside zone is still our bread and butter. So I think it's just having a detailed plan of executing it in practice, of what that looks like. Hey, okay, what do we have going in? Obviously, install 1 is the majority of our zone scheme. Install 2 is where the gap scheme comes in. So being just detailed in practice, having a clear plan and dedicating time to, okay, hey, today I want a heavy emphasis on zone combos. Today I want a heavy emphasis on zone. All right, tomorrow we'll come back. Hey, all right, yesterday was our zone focus day. The next day will be our gap focus day. So there'll be more gap detailed elements in terms of our practice approach, so the kids don't get the two intertwined and mixed up. And again, just a lot of compartmentalized meeting time. Kids dropping in between classes and things of that nature, just making sure they have a good understanding of the scheme and they're comfortable with everything. So just a lot of meeting time, Coach. A lot of meeting time.
Will you guys ever run that screen to the 2 wide receiver side, or did y'all just run it to the single?
Yeah. So that was it was out of 2x2. That was out of 2x2. Yeah, but so the Y was blocking MDM there. So we do it out of 2x2.
But your center's always strapping the sticks.
Yes, but so because what happens is sometimes those the guys on the perimeter whiff and miss, so you have a safety valve there. So he should be flat, cleaning up any mess there.
Y'all like that more to the boundary or the field?
Like it to the boundary, and it typically hits quicker to the boundary.
Real quick, I want to pick your brain about. I know you mentioned something about running duo. I just want to know. We haven't gotten into that. We want to get into that. Just something we wanted to try. Think about this offseason. What are your rules for that, and what defensive front are you looking for, or defensive backfield that you're looking for when running duo? Like, what's your ideal setup?
Yep. So obviously love duo. Good against 4 down. And obviously duo. Understanding duo is power, no puller. Okay, and the power of the players in those double teams. Okay, power of the players in those double teams. So you're looking for combos there, and not only that, but if you have to install it essentially as a gap scheme with no puller, you're responsible for your inside gap. You're responsible for your inside gap. Now, obviously, it gets a bit confusing sometimes because you have to rule it up to where guys understand. Hey, all right, if you have a 3-tech, you're soloed up. Yes, your inside gap could be, if we're running duo right, we're running duo left, all right, you're responsible for your inside gap, but you got a 3-tech and you're soloed up. You have to be moxie enough to understand, hey, I can't leave this 3-tech unblocked, but just really detailing it out for the kids and having them understand that is a gap scheme and the power of the play is in the double teams. You want to run that, whether that's an over or an under, and get good movement on that 3-tech and on that shade and deposit those guys into those linebackers' lap.
And not just for your lineman, but for your running back too.
For the back. So there are multiple ways. There are multiple ways you can do it. If you're trying to get some manipulation on those backers, you can run jab duo. He can take a jab step like counter, get those backers to flow across, now come back across, which helps us up front because those backers flow away Now they come back across, they're coming back to us. You know what I'm saying? So I learned that from Coach Hugh Jackson. Jab duo is you can take a quick jab step. So that's a counter step, jab, like a way to it, and back into it. Now you can also slide and dive footwork as well for the back action. But definitely under center. Definitely under center. It's got to be. Well, it doesn't have to be, but that's typically the most effective. It'd be pistol, but under center definitely. Now you can get some type of element of motion on that, whether that's bringing the Z across in motion to identify what's going on. You can also have a Z maybe tag on that, have do some X blocking on the perimeter with that. We can talk a little bit more afterwards as well, but that's a good question.
So like in GT for me, all right, and especially since you major in this, for me the hardest thing is center blocking back on the three. And they don't have that pick and hinge to kind of help them out. So kind of walk me through your coaching points. Yep. Like if you're going to teach the center how to block back on that three, how do you do that?
So built into our system, we have a automatic help call. So if there's a three tag, if he's too far and that center knows he can't get back, he needs help getting back to that three. He's yelling out right now, hey, help, 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 help. He's talking to the tackle with the B gap hinge. And a lot of times young tackles and still even at college level, they think that B gap hinge is, well, if I just throw my hand in there. No, I want you to get your hip in there. Get your hip in that gap, in that B gap, and help that center out. So that tackle has to be quick getting his hip in that B gap now to really help that center out, then bouncing back out and rooting this guy out for that gap hinge. So the gap hinge guy has to help the center, but the center has to be an athlete as well. He's on scholarship too. He got to earn his money. So he has to take a flat step. He has to be flat, almost like he's taking almost like we're working that pool drill and really just running him on out, because it's really almost impossible for me to sit here and tell a center, hey, I want you to drive that three tech back that way. He's not going to get going that way. You know, so really just telling him he's got to be flat. He's got to be an athlete and get there and wall that off.
In GT, when he doesn't have that big hinge, are you more worried about cross face with the three technique, or are you more worried about the penetration and getting the field?
Really more so worried about the penetration, because I'm teaching that, all right, if he knows he doesn't have that pick hinge there, hey, I'm worried about that penetration. I got to stop penetration. If he wants to come back across my face, I now be firm. With that hand and don't allow him to roll back over the top there. I got to fight pressure with pressure in that situation and don't let him roll back over top.
Go for Coach, but do you ever vary the 2-foot splits for that? Do you ever cut them down between your guard and center?
So I typically like to keep it a 2-foot split, just for gap integrity and for just to clear the picture up for the guys. Now obviously we're in tight yardage situation, short yard situation. Hey, they can cut those things down, you know, and get pretty dirty in there. But I like to typically keep it 2-foot splits, just to keep that picture clear, and obviously widen it out to a 3-foot when we're running GT.
You guys pull the center at all?
So no, we haven't. But that's something that we're looking into doing this spring. We've dabbled with it some, running some CY counter, and kind of bluffing the Y out of a strong or weak formation. You know, so we haven't dabbled in it, but we've experimented with it here recently.
All right, appreciate it. Josh, you say? Yeah. All right, hey, good job, Chris. I appreciate it.